Best known for his portrayal of the lead in 2000's Fox sitcom Malcolm in the Middle, Frankie Muniz was at one point considered one of the most popular child actors in Hollywood. For the iconic role, he earned 2 Golden Globe nods and 1 Emmy nomination. But Frankie, like countless former child stars, struggled to find continued success after Malcolm in the Middle ended. In 2008, he put his once prolific acting career on hold to pursue other passions. Factsverse presents Malcolm in the Middle's Frankie Muniz completely changed his career. He's now a NASCAR driver. It's crazy when you realize just how fast time seems to fly. In some ways, it seems like it was just yesterday that Frankie was sharing the screen with future Breaking Bad star Bryan Cranston on the set of Malcolm in the Middle. But now, Muniz is 37 years old, and Cranston's portrayal of Malcolm's hapless father seems like a distant memory. In January of 2023, Muniz announced that he will soon be taking part in NASCAR races as he takes yet another step closer to achieving his longtime dream of driving at stock car racing's most elite level. Muniz revealed that he was all set to join Rhett Jones Racing as a driver in the ARCA Menard series during the 2023 season. This series is considered to be essentially the minor league of stock car racing. It's often used as a stepping stone to help up-and-coming drivers hone their skills while working their way up to the top-level Cup Series. To put things into perspective, it ranks right below NASCAR's third and second tiers, the Truck and Xfinity Series. After making the announcement, Muniz's team shared several videos and photos from Florida's Daytona International Speedway, where he was giving his new wheels a little test run. In July of 2022, Muniz was interviewed by Dave Moody of SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. In that conversation, Frankie revealed he was already in talks with several teams to start racing at various NASCAR levels. He said he was keeping his expectations in check and being realistic. He admitted he didn't have a lot of experience with oval racing, but was excited to see where things would take him. He grew up as a racing fan. Frankie's been driving competitively since 2006, but he's been a fan of the sport for as far back as he can remember. Before announcing he would be competing with Rhett Jones Racing, Muniz told reporters attending the FS1 booth during the NASCAR All-Star Open last year that he likes to say now he only does acting on the side. At this point, he wants to make racing his primary focus. He elaborated by saying racing is one of those things in life that you really have to give your all to. He realizes he's in a position where he's up against people who have been racing competitively since they were 6 years old. Realizing he has a lot of ground to make up for, he reiterated his intention to learn quickly. There's talk of a Malcolm reboot. In 2016, Bryan Cranston expressed his interest in doing a Malcolm in the Middle reboot or reunion. In 2021, Frankie appeared on Steve-O's podcast and disclosed that Cranston was already working on a script for a movie reunion. He revealed that the entire cast, sans one holdout, had already confirmed their interest. At that time, he didn't identify who the one holdout was. Because of this, some have speculated that it was Frankie who wasn't ready to commit. Racing isn't a new passion. Muniz has long been a fan of car racing. In February 2001, he got the chance to drive the pace car for the Daytona 500. He also got to meet one of his heroes, Dale Earnhardt, shortly before he entered his vehicle for the race. Sadly, Muniz, who was also attending the race to film an episode of MTV's docuseries True Life, witnessed Earnhardt's fatal crash. In 2004, Frankie ran the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race in Long Beach, California as a celebrity competitor. He placed 7th. A year later, he competed again, this time finishing 3rd. In 2006, Muniz signed a 2-year deal with Jensen Motorsport as a driver. For that year's Formula BMW USA season, he competed in 14 races, but failed to finish in a point-scoring position. He then competed in the annual Formula BMW World Final at Valencia, placing 29th of 36 drivers. In April, he competed once again in the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, finishing 11th after starting in 19th. In 2007, Frankie leveled up by competing in the more competitive Champ Car Atlantic Series, participating in the entire season of 12 races. His best race during the season saw him finish in 9th place. Overall, he earned a total of 41 points, which landed him 22nd place and $17,000. That same year, he also placed 2nd in the Sebring Winter National Race. In 2008, he signed with Pacific Coast Motorsports and finished the season in 11th place. He also won the Jovi Masello Award, a sportsmanship honor. In 2009, Frankie joined Team Stargate Worlds. Throughout the season, he finished in the top 10 of every race he competed in. Unfortunately, right before the penultimate race, he had to pull out early due to a wrist injury. On October 23, 2021, Muniz made his stock car racing debut, competing in the SRL Pro Late Model Series, driving with High Point Racing at Kern County Raceway Park in Bakersfield, California. A few months later, he participated in the ARCA Menards Series test over at Daytona International Speedway. Frankie's health issues. In November of 2012, at 26, Muniz was hospitalized after having what doctors believed was a transient ischemic attack, otherwise known as a mini stroke. A year later, he had a second attack that was at the time diagnosed as a mini stroke. Several years later, in October of 2017, Muniz was asked about his health, but replied by saying he hadn't had any recent issues. That being said, later that month, it was claimed on the show Dancing with the Stars that he was suffering from significant amnesia, which was speculated to be caused by sustaining multiple concussions when he was younger. Sadly, it seems Muniz is unable to remember the majority of his time on the set of Malcolm in the Middle. It's also been reported that Bryan Cranston frequently calls him to remind him of the good times they once shared together. In a startling flip-flop in 2021, while a guest on Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast, Muniz claimed that the mini strokes had been a misdiagnosis and he was actually just suffering from migraine auras. He went on to clarify that the stories of his alleged memory loss had been greatly exaggerated by the media. Apparently, after making an innocuous statement somewhere along the lines of, "Man, I don't remember what happened in 2001, the press misinterpreted that to mean he was suffering from something more serious. He still acts occasionally. As previously stated, Frankie likes to think of himself now as a full-time race car driver and part-time actor. After Malcolm in the Middle ended, Muniz took a step away from Hollywood so he could try to have a normal life. He told Fox News Digital in October of 2022 that by stepping away from the spotlight, he was able to save himself from the horrors that often plague child stars as they grow older. The last thing he wanted was to fall victim to that notorious curse. In addition to racing, Muniz has also played drums in a couple of bands, including You Hang Up and Kingsfoil. The former didn't get signed, but Kingsfoil did find a degree of success between 2012 and 2014. In 2017, he announced he was managing a York, Pennsylvania band called Astro Lasso. While he's certainly not active in Hollywood these days, he does occasionally show up on screen. In 2012, he made a cameo appearance in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. Then in 2015, he made another appearance in The Mysteries of Laura. More recently, he competed in the 25th season of Dancing with the Stars. He and his partner, Whitney Carson, finished in third. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know Frankie Muniz is now a professional race car driver? Let us know in the comments section below.